Hello everyone, so I'm briefly going to talk about the intrapleural pressure, the IPP, or sometimes referred to as the intrathoracic pressure. So what is intrapleural pressure? It is the pressure between the two pleuras, or the pressure on the outside of the lung or on the inside of the thoracic cavity. So this is the lung, so this is the intrapulmonary pressure inside, and then you have the pleura, the two layers of pleura, and then on the outside you have the thoracic cage, which is made up of the ribs, the muscles, and the tendons. So the intrapleural pressure is almost always negative. It is important for it to be negative so that the amount of suction needed to hold the lungs at the equilibrium volume, that is the functional residual capacity. So the functional residual capacity is the volume of air present inside the lungs at the end of normal expiration. Okay, so it is about 3 liters. Now, to maintain that suction, to maintain that negative pressure, two forces are acting. There is a recoil tendency of the lung inward, to pull the lungs inward. So there are two opposite forces. One is pulling it inward, the recoil tendency of the lungs. Now, why is the recoil tendency of the lung? Is due to the elasticity of the lung, that is responsible for the inward pull, and also the surface tension inside the fluid within the alveoli is also responsible for pulling the lungs inward. Whereas at the same time, the thoracic cage, which is made up of the ribs, the tendons, they have a natural tendency to recoil outward. And why is that? That is because the elastic structures within the thoracic cage is being pulled inward, due to the elasticity of the ribs, the muscles, and the tendons. And therefore, it has a natural tendency for recoiling on the outside or to expand. So you see the thoracic cage is pulling it outward, the lungs are pulling it inward, and therefore there is a suction force or a negative pressure, which is responsible for the intrapleural pressure, which is always negative, and at the end of expiration it is about minus 2.5 millimeters of mercury. Now, why do we need a negative intrathoracic pressure? Why is it important? So that the lung doesn't collapse. You don't want the lung to collapse. Also, to maintain the alveolar stability. And lastly, this will increase the venous return, the return of deoxygenated blood into the lungs for oxygenation. So it prevents collapse of the lung, maintains the alveolar stability, and increases the venous return. Thank you.